You've been taught that smart people are the ones who show it. The loudest voice, the biggest flex, the sharpest reply. But the most dangerous people in the room, they say nothing. You think silence means weakness, that staying quiet means you have nothing to offer, that if you don't prove yourself immediately, you lose respect. That's exactly what they want you to believe. Because while you're busy performing, explaining, defending your intelligence to people who don't even matter, they are watching, learning your patterns, finding your limits, and using everything you just gave them. This isn't about being humble. This isn't about fake modesty or playing small. This is about control. Machiavelli said it clearly in The Prince, the wise man does all things quietly. Not because he's afraid, but because noise makes you predictable, and predictability makes you weak. This comes from Machiavelli's The Prince and modern psychology. Today, you're going to learn why the smartest people you know pretend to be average, why they hide their intelligence like a weapon, and why the moment you start doing this, everything changes. 5 principles. No fluff. Just power. Let's begin. Principle 1. The moment you prove how smart you are, you lose control of the room. You think showing intelligence earns respect. It doesn't. It earns resentment, jealousy, suspicion, and worst of all, expectation. Machiavelli warned, never appear too clever. Because the second people know you're sharp, they stop underestimating you. And underestimation is the single greatest advantage you can have. Here's what happens when you're always the smartest in the room. People stop confiding in you. They watch their words. They hide their true intentions. You become a threat instead of a player. But when you seem harmless, average, a little slow even, they relax. They talk freely. They reveal things they would never tell someone they feared. They show you their hand without realizing it. And you collect everything. Strategic rule. Let people believe they are smarter than you. They will hand you power without knowing it. Think about your workplace. The person everyone underestimates. They are the one who knows everything. The one who stays quiet in meetings but somehow always has leverage when it counts. That's not luck. That's strategy. And this is where most people destroy themselves. They can't handle being underestimated. They correct people. They prove their intelligence in small, unnecessary moments. And they lose the game before it even starts. Principle 2. Intelligence without silence is just noise. You've been around someone who always has to be the smartest person speaking. Every conversation becomes a performance. Every question becomes a lecture. Every silence becomes unbearable for them. You know what everyone else is thinking. Shut up. Machiavelli knew this. He said, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. Meaning, people don't care how smart you actually are. They care about how you make them feel. And nothing makes people feel smaller than someone who constantly needs to remind them how much they know. Psychologically, this is called narcissistic compensation. When someone can't stop proving their intelligence, it's not confidence. It's insecurity. And everyone can feel it. Here's the truth. Real intelligence doesn't need an audience. It moves in silence. It listens more than it speaks. It waits for the perfect moment. Then strikes once, and it's over. Strategic rule. Speak less. Observe more. Let your actions prove what your mouth doesn't need to. In your family gatherings, your group chats, your meetings, watch who talks the most and who actually wins. It's never the same person. Here's the part nobody talks about. Silence makes people uncomfortable. And when people are uncomfortable around you, they fill the space. They talk. They reveal. They give you everything you need without you asking a single question. That's power. Principle 3. Stupidity is a master powerful where on purpose. You think powerful people got there by showing everyone how smart they were. No, they got there by letting others underestimate them until it was too late. Machiavelli said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. This is the entire game. Appearance versus reality. And the ones who control that gap control everything. Let me show you how this works in real life. Someone asks you a question you already know the answer to. A smart person answers immediately, shows off their knowledge, and earns nothing but a quiet eye roll. A strategic person. They pause. They ask a follow-up question. They let the other person explain. And while that person is talking, feeling smart, feeling important, you're learning their logic, their blind spots, their ego triggers. You gave up nothing. You gained everything. Strategic rule. Never show your full hand. Even when you know the answer, let them think they taught you something. This works in relationships, in business, in every social interaction you'll ever have. The person who pretends not to understand is the one gathering intelligence. The person who needs to be the smartest is the one being studied. This is where it gets dangerous, because once you start doing this, you'll see it everywhere. You'll see who's playing the game and who's getting played, and you can't unsee it. Principle 4. Respect doesn't come from being right. It comes from being calm when others are not. You've seen it happen. Someone says something wrong, completely, obviously wrong, and the smart person in the room immediately corrects them, loudly, publicly, with facts and logic in a tone that says, "How did you not know this?" And what happens? The group turns on the smart person, not the wrong one. Why? Because people don't care about truth as much as they care about how you make them feel. And correcting someone in public, even when you're right, feels like an attack. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. Men are so simple and yield so readily to the desires of the moment that he who will trick will always find another who will suffer to be tricked. Translation: people would rather feel comfortable than be correct. And if you make them feel stupid, they'll hate you even when you're right. Here's the psychological truth. Emotion beats logic every single time in human behavior. You can be 100% right and still lose the room. Because people remember how you made them feel, not what you said. Strategic rule: let people be wrong in public. Correct them in private, if at all. Control the room by controlling your reactions. Watch this happen at your next dinner. Someone says something ignorant. The person who jumps in to correct them loses status. The person who stays calm, listens, and moves on, everyone respects them all. Not because they are smarter, because they are controlled. And control is the only currency that matters. Listen carefully. This decides your future. If you can't control your need to be right, someone else will control you with it. Principle 5. The most dangerous weapon is the one nobody knows you have. You think power is loud, visible, aggressive. It's not. Real power is invisible until the exact moment it's used. And by then, it's too late to defend against it. Machiavelli said it best: the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You need both, but you never show both at the same time. Here's what this means in your life. When people don't know how smart you are, they make mistakes around you. They assume you won't notice. They get comfortable, careless, arrogant, and that's when you move. Not with anger, not with proof, just with one calculated action that changes everything. And because they didn't see it coming, they have no defense. This is how quiet people end up in positions of power. This is how the average employee becomes untouchable. This is how the person nobody noticed becomes the one everyone fears. Strategic rule: never reveal your intelligence until it's time to use it as leverage. And when you do, use it once, perfectly. Think about the people who've truly influenced your life. The ones who shifted your career, your reputation, your trajectory. Were they the loud ones? The ones constantly reminding you how smart they were? Or were they the quiet ones who said almost nothing, until the one moment that mattered? Exactly. This next part separates the weak from the powerful. Weak people need constant validation for their intelligence. Powerful people let results speak in silence. Now you understand the game. You've been taught that intelligence is something you show, something you prove, something you defend in every conversation, every argument, every moment someone doubts you. But that's the trap, because the second you prove it, you lose the advantage. You become predictable, visible, easy to manipulate. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince for people who wanted to be liked. He wrote it for people who wanted to survive, and survive with power. Smart people pretend to be stupid because they understand something most never will. Perception is a weapon. And if people think you're harmless, average, or slow, you become invisible. And invisible people see everything. You've spent your life trying to prove how much you know. What if you spent the next year letting people underestimate you instead? What would you learn? What would you gain? Who would reveal themselves because they thought you weren't paying attention? From this point forward, ignorance is no longer an excuse. You know the game now. You know the rules. And you know exactly what the people around you are doing, whether they are playing strategically or just reacting emotionally. Now you see the difference between being respected and being used. Here's your final challenge. Stop proving yourself to people who don't matter. Stop performing your intelligence for validation. Stop filling silence because it makes you uncomfortable. Let them think what they want. Let them underestimate you. Let them talk while you listen. And when the moment comes, and it will come, move once, quietly, precisely, and let the results speak louder than you ever could. Type "I choose strategic strength" below. Not for me, for you. Declare it publicly, because once you say it, you can't unsay it. And that's the point. You will want to re-watch this, because the first time, you will only understand half of it. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're waking up.